Hello, YouTube. We are back for another episode in relation to Jeremy's Detective Comics number 33. Last upload, we made a little pulp, or at least we started to make more pulp because I ran out of it. In addition, we put this wrap in my bath with a deacidification solution, which is made out of calcium carbonate. And the purpose is to deacidify the wrap, to remove some of the impurities and to leave an alkaline buffer to preserve the wrap as best as we can. So last time we discussed the situation where what I wanted to do was I wanted to remove the wrap and try to make it where we can press it, and in addition to pressing it, keeping it moist, because the next step, what we're going to do is we are going to leaf cast this wrap so we can start chugging along and finishing this project. So what I'm doing right now is I'm setting up, or I'm trying to adjust the pieces of holly text in relation to the positioning of the interior wrap. So Jerry, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make it where we can press it, but we also are going to try to keep it moist? I'll show you how. So right here I have my shelving unit, and I have my clear plastic on top of the shelving unit, and hopefully the camera is picking it up. In fact, let's make the camera a little bigger. See how easy that was with the magic of film. Actually, not film. I'm not using a film camera. I'm using my iPhone. But it's just an expression. Then what we're going to do is we're going to try to lift out the wrap just like this, nice and easy peasy, and I can smell the acid in the water. I really can. It smells acidic. We're gonna put this down just like that. I'm gonna make sure the holly text is straight, and then what I want to do is I want to try to straighten out the wrap between the two pieces of holly text. So we're just going to take a plastic tool just like this from Home Depot, nothing special. So a plastic knife, so it's nice and soft, and I'm just going to take it from the center, going from the center outwards. And what I want to do is just a piece of wet sandpaper, high grit. I just want to run it along the tool just like this because it had some imperfections, and we're going to do that not over the document, just to make sure it's nice and smooth, and I achieved my goal. It is nice and smooth. So I'm going to take it, and we're just going to nicely take the tool from the spine, and we are going to move outwards. And then we're going to take the water just like this with a paper towel. We're going to do the same here. Make sure it's nice and flat, just like that. Nice and easy peasy. Get the air bubbles out, get the water out. And then we're going to use our paper towel just like this. So how are we going to press it and keep it moist? I'll tell you how we're going to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use one paper towel, and I'm only going to put it on one side. And the reason we're only going to put it on one side is I don't want to put a bunch of paper towels on both sides because I don't want to suck out all the water. So we're just going to do one, just like this. Then we're going to take my second piece of plastic, and we're going to cover it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the book binding press, and I am going to wrench down on the book binding press. Copy press / whatever you want to call it, Big Bertha. And I'm not going to change the paper towel. We're going to leave the paper towel there until I'm ready to do the leaf casting. So let's close it off to the side, squeak, squeak, nice and tight. And let's get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. And if we can look, maybe the camera's picking it up, look at the color of it. It's a little discolorization. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. So it cleaned the page nicely, in my opinion. I think one is enough with my goal because it's not super brittle, the page. So now what we have here is the pieces of paper pulp that I ripped up, or pieces of paper. It's not paper pulp. And they're still sitting here. And if you could see, they're breaking down a little bit. And this is the newsprint that I put a little bleach in and then washed out. This is the cardboard stock. It's still not breaking down as much as I would like. So then what I do is I just rip it, and we just rip it into little pieces just like this. The more we rip, the better it is. So it absorbs the water and we'll be able to blend it nicely together, hopefully making the paper pulp the color that I wanted. So this needs to soak probably for another 10 hours or so. That's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna let this soak for another 10 hours. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna blend the two, and then we're going to do a test disc out of the blended pulp, and we're gonna compare it to the other sheets or wraps that I did, because we want to try to make them as close as possible, and I'll be able to do it. I have good experience in doing these sort of things with the wraps. So that's the goal, guys. So we'll be right back. I'm going to continue this upload, and I'll see you probably in about maybe 10 hours or so, and then we'll blend this up and we'll see if we can match the color as I indicated. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back. And the two the two papers that I made, this is the card stock, the one that we ripped up for Jeremy's Detective Comics. This is a continuation of the upload, has been sitting overnight. And it definitely feels a lot more softer because the water penetrated overnight, and this is what you want. Also, this is the newsprint that we bleached just for a small amount of time. And what I want to do now is I want to start making the pulp. So what we have here is my blender, good old blender. We're going to plug it in. As you can see, it was on. And then we have my nice blender top that I cleaned and got rid of all of the old pulp. So there's really no measurements that you do. You want to fill up the blender with water, and the paper that you rip, this is the newsprint, as I indicated. You're repeating yourself, Jerry the Jitterbug. You must be a jitterish bug. Just gibber, gibber, gibber. Nah, I'm just trying to make this a little entertaining. So there is your newsprint. Now we're going to add our cardstock. And I'm going to fill it up, see? With the water, just like that. Easy peasy. Let's get all of our ripped little pieces of newsprint and put it in there. And then we're gonna blend. And I use the normal blades on the blender. I know some guys out there like to reverse it and experiment that way, but to me it doesn't matter. You want to just grind up the paper pulp. So let's do it. Cover your ears if you are sensitive to that regard. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, let's take a look at it. And I'll tell you right now, we're gonna have to blend it more. So you're seeing this on real time, guys. I'm showing you how long I blend it. I'm using the smoothie selection. I'm gonna do the crushed ice now a little bit. Okay, for our sample, because we're gonna do a color sample now, that's good enough. It's a little too thick. I'm gonna be up front with you, but for a color sample, that's plenty of mixing. So I wanna put a little in the squeeze bottle right now. Let's see, I think that should be enough. I think maybe a little bit more. We're gonna have to pour some into the squeeze bottle. So I like to use the measuring bowl so I don't make a mess. And let's just pour a little bit more in, and we'll always pour it back into the blender. Let's put this to the side. And what we're gonna do now is we are going to test the pulp. That's the goal. I want to test the pulp. I want to test the color. So we can let it dry and we can see whether it matches with the previous pulp made for many of the pages that I did in Jeremy's Detective Comics number 33. Here is my tub with the deacidified water in it, or the results from the deacidification of the page. And I'm gonna do it so I can let the water seep down and fall below. And my dogs are having a howling fest upstairs, if you hear that, because someone must have came on the driveway or something. Who the hell knows? So let's make a little disc of the pulp, just like this. And you see how the water will flow through the... This is Rimet, I can tell, because it's thicker. And we're just going to give it a nice round circle, just like this. And guys, if you want to do the leaf casting, you can practice doing this. And I see on my friend Peter Elite J's channel and on a lot of the people who are doing leaf casting now that don't have a leaf casting table, I would suggest doing it this way, because a lot of times they'll do it on a mat and then they'll use sponges. But if you elevate it and you do the leaf casting on a grate, when the water penetrates the wrap that you are leaf casting, it falls down into the vessel underneath. And even if you don't have a leaf casting table, you're better off doing it that way, in my opinion, because at least gravity will take care of some of the water as well. So just my 2 cents. But again, what do I know? Okay. So there you go. So we have our test disc, as I like to call it. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take a piece of Hollytex, just like that. That's Hollytex, I can tell, because it's thinner. It's a thinner piece than the Rimet. And that's why the Hollytex is good for leaf casting. Okay? And what we can do is we can just try to maybe push out some of the moisture by using the rolling a pin like I'm rolling a pizza pie right now. Or I could be rolling a top of an apple pie. However you want to do it. But you see how Jerry the Jitterbug changes his voice? He does imitations like rolling the pizza pie. That was an Italiano accent. And I try to be funny. I try to be entertaining in addition to conserving comics. Because what are you going to do? You're going to watch the same thing. This is me making Pulp. This is me making a Pulp color disc. Does it look like the color of the book that I'm working on? See, that's a little boring. So by me doing my funny little jokes, I want to get a snare drum, cha-ching-ching, and have fun when we do the uploads. Hopefully you guys think I'm a funny dude, a funny guy. So, right there is our test. That's it, guys. And what do we do next? Well, I'll tell you what we do next. I'm off to the side in my Jerry the Jitterbug lair. And we're going to get 2 pieces of glass. You see this? And this, if you watch my channel, you know this is recycled glass. I'm going to put it like this. And matter of fact, let me put just 1 piece of paper towel and we'll fold it. Okay. Just like this. And then I'm going to put it on my oil burner, which is to my right. Stage right. And the oil burner goes on, even though it's spring now, it still goes on because it heats up the water for the hot water heater. So you'll always have it running. So that's it. I think maybe I'm going to end this upload now because it's probably about 15 minutes or so. And then next upload, what we'll do is I'll test the color of the pulp. If it doesn't match, I will adjust it. I will adjust the color, and then we're going to go right to leaf casting that wrap. And then we have a bunch of more to do, but we're getting there. I'm hot and heavy again. I know I say this all the time, hard and heavy, but I am. I want to get this done. In fact, I spoke to someone today from Utah, and they have a book that they want me to work on. And I said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not accepting any more books until I'm done with this book. I also have a book from Tales to Astonish. Jonathan, if you're watching, you probably don't watch my channel anymore. Let's see if you comment. I have a book from him that I didn't even open up yet. I have it. And I want to cover it. I'm going to show you, Jonathan. It's still here in the packing, like from 2 years ago. I also have a A-OK from Gary B, the casual comic guy, my good friend. I have a lot of A-OKs. I have that big pile over there. I'll get to it. Stop pressuring me, everyone. I'm only kidding. No one's pressuring me. So I'm glad you're listening to me jabble and gibberish and all that stuff I'm saying. Now I'm having a good time filming this. Thank you and stay tuned.